Hi guys, so I'm here trying the new test today, trying to do a Facebook Live actually during your lunch hour. So hopefully I'm catching you guys for a nice, good break. And I want to bring you guys, as usual, the latest developments with immigration. Today, I want to actually talk to you guys about immigration fees that are increasing. Immigration fees are actually going to go up. They just released a new guidance on Friday. We're not currently, there is a 60-day comment period. So with these fees will not go into effect until October 2nd. So we still have a little bit of time before then. And this is actually why I wanted to do this Facebook Live, because I wanted to share with you guys the information about the fact that the fees are going to go up and that they're going to take effect in about 60 days. Now, sometimes people ask me, like, what can I do? I don't think these new fees are fair. Is there anything I can do as an individual, as a person? And the answer is yes. You are able to actually make comments during the 60-day, what they call the comment period, where you can go on there and honestly just explain your real personal story as to why the fees would cause undue hardship to you or your family. The comments are actually, they're required by law to be read by immigration officials before they actually put this into effect. So sometimes they will modify their changes based on what the comments that people do make. So I do encourage people, what can I do about this? If I vote, one vote doesn't won't make a change, or my comment won't make a change. It does, believe it or not. Again, like I said, they are required to read the comments, and sometimes the finished product of some of the guidelines that we give by immigration are honestly modified at the end based on the comments that people have made, and then they take that into consideration before finalizing any other new guidelines. So I did want to show you on the screen. Actually, I want to share with you guys a couple of the increases. Citizenship applications, they're going up almost like by $530. So I did want to share with you guys. Let me see. I want to share so that you can see. Let's see. I have the application right here pending and open. Look, these are the new fees that are coming up with immigration, and you guys have access to this. It's actually available on their website. And basically, for instance, let's see here. If you want to file a petition for my spouse, let's say I got married and I want to file a petition for my wife or my husband. So if you see on here, the I-130, the fee has actually gone up to, it will go up to $550. So right now it is $535. It is going to go up to $535. The other one I wanted to point out was the one for this one, the I-192. This is an application to enter as a non-immigrant. And the fees right now here, is they're highlighted. Right now they're $930, and they're going to go up to $1,400. So you might be asking, okay, what does that mean? So let me break it down to you. If I have someone who tells me, hey, I was a victim of a crime, I cooperated with authorities. So someone, my daughter was a victim of sexual abuse. I was a victim of domestic violence. I filed a police report. I cooperated with the authorities. There's a U visa available for those people here in this country. So in order to apply for a U visa, there's no fee directly with immigration per se to apply for the U visa, but there is a fee for the waiver. So usually most people, they do need this waiver. Usually they have already entered the country unlawfully or illegally. So there is a immigration violation, or perhaps they have actually been working without a work permit. So they're working without work authorization, which is another violation with immigration. So these are all different violations with immigration that you must ask for forgiveness with immigration. So there is a waiver that you can apply. So right now, right now I'm sharing my screen with you guys. I'm showing you that right now, if I do a U visa, there is a single person, there were a victim who were held at gunpoint. Submit their application with immigration, they have to pay $930. However, effective October 2nd, because this is when the fees are going to go up, that same person is going to have to pay $1,400. And mind you, just because you're paying an additional fee, which is actually an additional $470, it does not mean that they're going to process your application just as fast. I mean, as is, where the delays are huge. Like, did you know that in order for you to be eligible or to apply for a U visa, there is currently, they only have available 10,000 U visas per year, and that's nothing. There are over 160,000 people waiting for a U visa. So we're talking about many, many years to be able to apply for a U visa. So just now, the fees are going to go up, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get it any faster or the immigration will process your applications any faster just because you're paying an additional fee. Furthermore, what this means is, so let's say I'm a victim of domestic violence. I contacted the police. I have a police report. I'm eligible for a U visa. I have my minor children who are also undocumented. So let's say I have a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and I want them all to go into this package. So what that means is that I have to pay, I'm the mother, I have to pay that fee waiver with immigration, that fee with immigration for the waiver, which is $1,400. But now I have to multiply it by 4. Now I have to file a petition for me and my 3 children. So now you're telling me that this person, which is the victim of domestic violence, is just eligible to apply for a U visa. Now she has to come up with $5,600 in order to apply for the U visa. So these are the real life stories, like when you break it down as to what it means, like the substantial increases are really going to hurt a lot of our families. And as honestly, more importantly, the ones that are vulnerable, the ones that are in this position who are victims of a crime, such as the example that I just gave, if they're a victim of a crime, domestic violence, and now they have to pay these fees. So the fees are substantial. Just so you know, I think I already mentioned it, the fees are going to go into effect on October 2nd. Sometimes people just are very undecisive and they'll take forever, and they may be illegal permanent resident for 10, 20, 30 years, and they just never apply for citizenship. And people ask them, well, why should I even apply for citizenship? Like, what's the benefit? What is the advantage? And honestly, as you already know, if you are a green card holder and you have a green card, you need to be able, you cannot be out of the country more than 6 months. And you cannot be out of the country definitely more than a year. Otherwise, it does constitute abandonment of your green card. And so you have that always bothering you in the background. Another thing also with immigration, if you're a U.S. citizen, if you want to sponsor or file a petition for someone, I'm a U.S. citizen, I want to file a petition for my spouse or for my children, being a U.S. citizen, you have more rights, you have more options. Right now, it's a perfect example. We have the travel ban. So if I want to be able to bring my husband who's in Mexico, but I'm only a legal permanent resident, my husband cannot come here because I'm a legal permanent resident under the travel ban. Right now, those petitions, there's a travel ban up until December. However, if I'm a U.S. citizen and my husband's outside of the United States, I want to bring him into the United States, there is no travel ban. The travel ban doesn't apply because I'm a U.S. citizen. So again, there are a lot of benefits if you're a U.S. citizen. I feel sometimes people will put everything on hold. They're just like, oh, why even apply? Why even bother? And this is what brings me to me wanting to share my screen again for the next one, where basically, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to scroll down to the petition called the N400. That is the application that you're able to see right here on my screen. And right now, the N400, the application for citizenship, basically, right now, it's about $640. You always add $85 for biometrics. So basically, that fee, the $640, right now it's actually $725. But it's going to go up after October 2nd up to $1,170. So we're seeing an increase of $530. So I'm telling people right now, if you're able to do something, if you just want to file a petition for your wife or your husband, whatever it may be, do it now. The fees are going to go up, and this is for sure going to happen. So you want to be careful and or submit these applications now. Why pay? Right now, I can submit my application for citizenship. I can pay $725. If I wait after October 2nd, I'm going to have to pay $1,170. And honestly, I'm getting the same end result. It's not like I'm getting anything, more out of it just because I'm paying more with it. So please, the fees go in effect on October 2nd. There is a 60-day comment period. Go on there, make a comment, explain how this is going to affect you individually, particularly. Now, when I go back and I see that we do have a question from somebody who's online with us. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Now, what if I already submitted my application already? Can we do anything about these fees? So actually, you are one of the lucky ones. If you have already submitted your application with immigration, you have already paid the fees, you're okay. You're under the old fees. You're already, protected or grandfathering. And they've actually already accepted your package and already processed your payments. Your application is probably perhaps already pending. And your follow-up to that question is, can we do anything about these fees? No, I agree with you. I just think the fees are outrageous, especially, when they're applying for a benefit. Again, it's not like they're going to expedite the process. It's not like it's going to cut the time in half. It's just the fees are just going up. And so we do have the 60-day comment period that I was mentioning earlier that all of us have access to. And just go in there, participate, become involved, and explain your particular situation as to why you oppose these fees. Like I invite, honestly, all of our social workers. I know we have a lot of social workers who work hand in hand with a lot of the vulnerable population, and they understand the struggles. I mean, especially right now with COVID, honestly, people who are struggling, and this is something that I always have to explain to people. You know, I'm an immigration attorney, and something people have to understand is that my clients are, for the most part in this country, obviously undocumented. And so what does that mean? With COVID, a lot of the places closing, the restaurants, you know, most of my clients work in the restaurant industry, cleaning, they're waitressing, they're washing dishes. A lot of the places that have been shut down, you know, the places where people, retail stores or restaurants are the ones that are shut down. So of course, the people who are undocumented, they're off work, they're not getting any benefits. People are like, well, why don't I apply for unemployment? Well, you cannot apply for unemployment unless if you have work authorization or work permit, which these people, they don't have. They're here unauthorized. The second thing, people are like, well, what about the stimulus check that they were able to get from, you know, from the government? Again, there was a restriction placed on that. If you did not have a social security number in order to file your income taxes, you are not eligible for that under the CARES plan, that additional payment. So my clients honestly are left with nothing. So any little money they have now, they are obviously saving it to be able to pay their rent, to be able to pay their food. You know, they're just struggling. They're not able to pay all their fees. You know, all of their expenses as is to live now that we're during the COVID. And now immigration is coming up with these new fees where obviously, you know, are they going to have 5,000? I'm a single mom. I was a victim of domestic violence. I have my 3 children. Now I have to come up with $5,600 in order to pay for my fees with immigration. Again, this is something that, you know, it's affecting a lot of people, not just with the U visa. Like I gave the example or the list that I shared with you guys, that it actually affects more people. Now, I also want to share a different screen where people sometimes ask me, well, how do I know what the correct fee is? Because yes, you have to be able to find the right form and the right fees. Otherwise, they will reject your application with immigration. Sometimes people ask me, this is just a personal thing that I do here in my office. I don't like to submit personal checks with immigration because if you write them for the wrong amount, let's say the fee is $725 for citizenship, but mistake you put $735, and you're like, oh, you know, $10 extra, I'm sure we'll keep it. No, they will reject the application if it's not the correct amount. And so usually in my office, I just honestly prefer just to do a money order. And I just ask my clients to make it payable to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Another thing, when you make those checks payable to, when you're writing it out, do not abbreviate to whom it's being payable to. You want to spell out the name correctly. And there's another way that I also tell my clients, if you want to protect yourself from fraud, from people, you know, scamming you, or if you're dealing with a public notary, which you should not. You should only be dealing with an attorney, someone who's licensed. They need to be able to, in order for someone to give legal advice, they need to be licensed. It can be either the state of Illinois or a different state, but they need to be licensed to give legal advice. That's just the law. Public notaries cannot give you legal advice. So you shouldn't with public notary. But if someone's asking you, oh, give me $3,000 for your immigration application, tell them, you know what, I want to write out the money order and I'm going to make it payable to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So what I just mentioned, I do want to share with you the screen, and this is where actually you should be able to go. So I just pulled up, this is USCIS. So you see how this logo right here on the left hand side with immigration. And actually let me share this other screen. Screen so that I can show you guys. So yeah, anytime you need to be able to pull up an application with immigration. So now you can see the whole thing. Yeah, there it is. Basically, you can see right there where it went. So it says USCIS on the upper left corner, and it says N400, application for naturalization. This form, just so you know, they're free. I know I've made a lot of immigration presentations and people have gotten up during my presentations. They have told me, oh, they told me that application fees, the application forms are $50. And I want you to know that they're free. We all have access to them. Just make sure you go and you find this logo right here. It's USCIS. This is a government website, because even when you're looking for that form, let's say this is just an example, this is for citizenship. There are other companies that try to look like they're from the government, but they're not. And it will charge you for their immigration form. So you want to be careful. You want to make sure that you are on the USCIS website. So once you're on there, and I'm going to go back into it, basically, it's a long, big form, and you just basically, you can download it. You can see what's in it. Now, with this one, basically, let me go back. Here we go. The application with immigration. Right here at the bottom, you can see the filing fee. If you're like, I don't know how much it is, you can see the filing fee. So this one is $640, and there is an $85 fee for biometrics. It's actually $725, which is the amount I've been mentioning. Now, here's a section that I want to highlight: payable to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Now, that's a portion that I'm mentioning right now. You do not want to abbreviate it. If you ever read a check or you ever read a money order, you don't want to abbreviate it, because otherwise they will return the fees back to you if you do abbreviate it. Just really pick as to whom you want to whom it is actually paid out to. But right there is where you can check on the filing fees. You can see the correct amount. Now also here you can see the edition date, and you can see the correct edition, because if they're expired, again, immigration can return your form. So see this one right here, the edition dates, and as long as you download it correctly directly from this website, again, showing this logo, you should be fine. And so let me just go back to this. So yeah, so there are many ways that you can, again, protect yourself. Someone's telling you, give me $3,000 and this is going to be an immigration fee. Say, no, you know what? I can check myself. I just show you guys how to check yourselves. And in any case, I'm going to write the check or the money order payable to immigration directly, and then I show you who to pay it to and how to make it payable to. So again, this is just wanted to make just a quick video for you guys about immigration fees. They are increasing. The effective date is going to go on October 2nd. So we do, you do have time right now. Sometimes people are asking, well, what's the best time to submit an application now? Honestly, just to be on the safe side, I would submit it probably mid-September, the latest the end of September. The fees go again in effect on October 2nd. So you don't want to get whatever application, if you were like, oh, thinking maybe starting a petition for your mom, for your sister, for your husband, for your wife, get started on it now. If you have something pending right now, you haven't moved along, please go ahead and submit it. Finally, please don't forget to share this video. There's a lot of information, and I'm also inviting you to come and join me again next Thursday. I'm going to do another Facebook Live. We'll be doing one in Spanish at 12 and another one at 12:30, and we're going to be talking about the public charge. There are new changes. So yes, there are constantly new changes. I'm trying to stay up to date with them as much as possible, and that's why I enjoy doing this Facebook Live events for you guys, so you guys can see the latest developments with immigration. So again, this Thursday at 12 o'clock in Spanish, at 12:30 in English, we're going to be talking about the new public charge. And thank you for joining me. If you guys have any questions, again, I'm going to upload this video once I'm done on my website. Feel free to ask any comments. I will come back and respond to any questions you might have. And please don't forget to share this video as well. And thank you for joining me.